Hello, welcome back to Artsy-Island-Girl. Today I'm making some resin coasters. So the first thing I'm going to do is mix up my resin for the amount of time that the product specifies. I'm using moss epoxies. I'm going to mix different mica powders and mica flakes into my resin and get that ready before I pour it into the mold. I'm using Cast and Craft white for the white one. The rest of them I will post down below what it is that I've used. So I'm going to pour each color individually into the mold. Don't worry if it looks messy at first. The different resins or resin colors are going to mix and flow together as it's curing. So what you see now is not going to be what it's like at the end. So I'm going to do each color individually, and I'm trying to get an even amount of each one into the mold so I don't have one that's overly burgundy or one that has more mica flakes, that sort of thing. And now I'm going to put the next one. This one here has mica flakes in it, and in the end you couldn't really see the mica flakes as much as I thought you were going to be able to see them. So it was a good lesson. Next I'm going to do the white bit. I ended up mixing a whole lot of white, so there's more white in there than I realized, but that's okay. It looks awesome at the end. So keep pouring the different amounts of each color in. Once I'm done that, I'm going to use a heat gun to take all of the bubbles away. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm going to get the heat gun. First, I'm going to do it on a really low speed just to take the bubbles. I don't want to blow it around at first. Once all the bubbles are gone, I'm going to put it on a higher speed to start blowing the resin around just to help it mix with each other. It's going to heat it up. It's going to make it a little bit runnier, so the colors are going to mix together a little bit easier. So once I've gotten my heat gun and blown it around a little bit, I am going to take a toothpick and I'm going to pull the different colors into each other. So the resin will mix on its own a little bit, but it does need a little bit of help. I wanted to pull in a little bit more of that burgundy color into the white and have it mix together a little bit more. So I'm going to do that with all 4 coasters. And once I'm done that, I'm using my heat gun again just to get rid of any bubbles that may have risen to the surface while I was using the toothpick. So this is the coasters the next day. I'm going to pull them out of the mold. And I've got this sped up because it takes a little bit of time. In the end, I actually really prefer the top side of the coasters more than the bottom. But I love those colors together, and I love how it ended up kind of getting a white center in the top. It's really amazing seeing what resin does as it cures, because it just kind of has a mind of its own. So as I'm pulling them out of the mold, I'm noticing that the coasters have a bit of a ridge on the top of them. So I am going to flood coat the top of them to get rid of that ridge. So I'm just mixing a small batch of the clear resin. I'm going to pour a little bit onto each of the coasters. And then I'm going to use a silicone brush to spread it around. So the silicone brush gives me a little bit more control and lets me go to the edges of each of the coasters. It does take a little while because I don't want the resin to be flowing over the edge of the coaster. I just want it to go to just to the edge, not flow over. So once I've done that with all 4 coasters, I'm going to use my heat gun to get rid of any bubbles. I decided to put some silver Krylon pen around the edges to give them silver edges. And as I did this, I only got, I think, 3 little ridges done. I decided I didn't like it. So rather than keep on doing it, I ended up just using some rubbing alcohol and rubbing it right off. And I like it much better without the silver around it. Hope you enjoyed this. Have a great day. Subscribe to the channel to get notified with more videos.